being authentic is the foundation of true success, not just in business, but in life. When we realize who we are, that's when the life starts really unfolding, when the life starts being able to be lived, not who we thought we were, not this people pleasing or society driven focus, but truly getting internalized and knowing who you are. That's why it's important in business, because that will push your product, push your service, push your career, whatever it is, because you're authentic. People can see genuine, people can feel authenticity. So if you don't have that, then ultimately you're not going to be truly successful.
Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Create Your Life. I am your host, Simone Leah. So I just wanted to let you guys know that today's interview is actually an interview that I recorded about a year ago when I ran an online event called the Soul-Led Entrepreneurs Summit. It was a really, really, really wonderful event. I had some beautiful, amazing speakers talking about things like connecting with your intuition and how you can use that in your business, how to do Facebook advertising, how to do marketing as a soul-led entrepreneur, all of these cool things to do with business, entrepreneurship, and actually also spirituality and connecting within. And so these interviews were so wonderful that I really wanted to be able to share them with you now. So if when you're watching this, you see or hear the word soul-led entrepreneurs, this is still the Create Your Life show, but these interviews were just too good for me to keep to myself any longer. So I really, really, really hope you guys enjoy this interview, and I can't wait to connect with you again soon. Hey guys, and welcome back to Soul-Led Entrepreneurs. My name is Simone and I'm your host today. And today I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing Yolunda Elam about being yourself in business and in life, sharing your truth, which was an amazing, amazing interview because Yo is who she is. She is unapologetically herself and she's so vibrant and fun that her energy just comes across because she's being who she is. And so I think this is a really important interview for people to get that understanding of it doesn't matter what your backstory is. It doesn't matter where you started from or where you came from. It matters that you're being you. And so I think this is an absolutely amazing interview for you guys to watch and just feel her energy and feel her truth. And know that it's okay for you to share yours as well. So I really hope you guys enjoy this interview and I can't wait for you to see it. Hello and welcome back to Soul-Led Entrepreneurs. I am here with Yo from Be Yourself Every Day. We're here to talk today about sharing your truth and your experience and being yourself in life and in business. Hello, Yo.
Hey, Simone. Thank you for having me. Happy and having. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Me too. Thank you for being here. I feel this is going to be super fun.
It already is. I'm mixing up words, having and happy.
We're already having fun. It's so good. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. So Yo is in the process of putting together some transformational programs to help just everyone really understand their authentic self and move forward that way. Did you want to just share a little bit about that with the audience?
Yeah. What I'm doing is I'm putting together a program that takes you on a journey of starting out with who you are, or at least who you think you are. So you be yourself, and then we get into trusting ourselves and inspiring ourselves, empowering ourselves, knowing ourselves, loving ourselves, to ultimately being ourselves. So basically, I will take you on a journey of be yourself to I am myself, and all the transitions in between. It's going to be a beautiful process because it's my process. It's what I did being a recovered alcoholic, being from who I thought I was to actually being who I truly am. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it transforms other people's lives and having joy and peace that's internal, not external.
Yes,
it's gonna be awesome.
definitely.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yes, it definitely all starts within, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Internal it starts inward and then it affects everything on the outward. But yeah, definitely got to start. You got to clean your house first.
Yes, exactly. Which brings to the very first question of what does being soul aligned in business mean to you?
Wow, soul alignment in business. Before we could even start soul alignment in business, you got a soul alignment with ourselves, right? I know we're all entrepreneurs, we're striving to become entrepreneurs, but we still are human beings first. And as human beings, we all have a soul. And once we realize that our soul is actually more empowered than we are, like I listened to a guy speak once, and a lot of us feel like our souls are inside our bodies, and it's really the opposite. Our bodies are inside our souls. So when we align our souls to connect to source, my source is God, then we're able to experience more of the outward joys because we have inward joy because of the soul alignment. So soul is like the foundation. It's the meat of life for me. So when you align that, everything else is, how they say it, icing on the cake.
Yes.
You know, the cake is the soul. When you align it, everything else is just extra beauty, just joy. I love my soul.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Definitely. Totally 100% agree. So, obviously, there's a big part of sharing your truth and your experience. Um, for business owners, why is that so important?
Oh my God, authenticity. When, regardless of how we believe about sales, because I used to be a person that was like, oh, I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to sell a salesperson. Even if you're not selling product, you're either selling service or you're selling yourself. And no one wants to work with somebody who's not true, who isn't genuine. Um, Being authentic is the foundation of true success, not just in business, but in life. When we realize who we are, that's when all the when the life starts really unfolding, when the life starts being able to be lived, not who we thought we were, not this people pleasing or society driven focus, but truly getting internalized and knowing who you are. That's why it's important in business, because that will push your product, push your service, push your career, whatever it is, because you're authentic. People can see genuine, people can feel authenticity. So if you don't have that, then ultimately you're not going to be truly successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, would it, like, okay, so say someone's got parts of themselves that they don't necessarily like. I think that there was a time a few years back when everyone was like, in business, you need to be professional, and that's it. That's it. You've got your business face, and then you've got your at-home face. So if people are coming from that place of having their business face and their at-home face, how important is it that they start to merge those two parts of themselves, because that they are two parts of themselves, but how important is it that they start to bring that through so people are seeing the full person?
It's extremely important, because as I said earlier, nobody wants to work with a person who isn't honest, who isn't true. And it doesn't mean the words you speak or even the actions you take. It's really just being honest with yourself, being true to who you are. If we have all these different faces, and I was guilty of this, I had several faces. I had my teacher face, and I had my wife face, and I had my in-law face, and I had all these different roles I was trying to fit into. And even though the foundation was similar, it was faulty. It was cracked. It wasn't solid. So when you are able to merge all these different parts of you into the true you, it makes your business true. So it's like, I used to joke around, like when COVID first hit, now we're all literally wearing masks that we can see, but we've all been wearing masks the majority of our life. We've been wearing these coverings of who we really are, because we're trying to fit into a mold of whether the way we were raised or what we think should be, how we should be seen. And none of that is true. Very few people, and I'm sure there are some, like Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, there are people out there who have made a change in this world that I believe walked in true authenticity. And there's no reason why we can't do that in everyday business, in everyday life. We don't have to be a Gandhi or Mother Teresa or MLK or the Pope or other people like that. We can be Yolunda Elam. We can be Simone Peel. I think it's Peel. I don't know that we last name. We can be, Jane, John, and Jim Doe and still be authentic and effective.
Yeah. And so would you say that when you're building a soul aligned business, sharing all of those parts of yourself and being fully authentic is going to be the way that really helps you to serve and show up for people and just shine and attract more people, really?
Yeah, you can't be heart-centered without knowing your heart, right? And the soul is the heart's extension of the soul. There's this cute little show on Disney Plus called Inner Workings. It is so adorable. I done watched that thing with my grandkids about 25 times. But it's this little guy, this little character, this animated character, who he wakes up and his brain drops juice into his heart and his muscles hit the alarm clock, and then his bladder needs to be released. And it's so, because it shows on the internal animated forms of what our body does. But there's a part where his heart wants to do something. His heart wants to go jump into the ocean and enjoy, being playful. But his brain is like, no, go to work, go to work, go to work. And then, or his heart wants to talk to the girl who's selling the sunglasses, and his brain is pulling the heart like, no, let's go, let's go, let's go. And there's a scene where he's in the work office and he's just working and working, and it's all mundane, humdrum work. And then finally, and the heart's just sad, and the little lungs are patting the heart like, oh, it's okay. And then the brain realizes, because the brain was fearful. So there's scenes where the brain, if the brain felt like if it let the heart lead, it would die. One of my favorite parts is this one scene where he's putting on these shades, and then the girl laughs at him, and he's shocked, and he reaches back, and there's a guy juggling chainsaws, and he gets chopped up. And so they show little cemetery boxes of him. His name is Paul. But the whole point is the heart wanted to lead and the brain wouldn't allow, because the brain, hence the ego, was afraid he was going to die. So when he finally realized that he wasn't connected to his heart, and it gave the heart back its power, then he went out, he played in the ocean, he had lunch, he met the girl. And when he came back, the entire office transformed, because he started hitting the keys differently. He started working at a different beat. He started being his own authentic self. And so it gave everyone else in the office freedom. This is my perspective, of course. It's animated, it's only 8 minutes, it's an 8-minute short, but I saw how beautiful it was, because it gave the other people permission to be themselves and to be authentic, and to not fall into this humdrum of, box cutter people. Yeah. So I forgot your question, but I know the movie had line with what it was. You want to make sure that you are led by your soul, led by the heart, because that's true living. Yeah. When he didn't allow the heart to live, he just died every single time. Yeah.
So if someone's got, it sounds like I actually am going to Google this.
It is so adorable. It's called Inner Workings. It's on Disney Plus. It's a Disney short, and it's only 8 minutes long, but I think it's truly impactful because of where I am today in my life. Yeah. Otherwise, I just would have laughed at it. But this one was like, wow, it's so beautiful.
Oh, I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm a big one for the cartoons. Say someone is starting in business that little bit later in life. So say they're starting and they've gone through their 20s, they're at the end of their 30s, or they're in their 40s or 50s, and they've got all these life experiences, and they're making decisions about what they do and don't include in their brand and in their bio, right? Mm-hmm. How do they distinguish between whether their heart is saying do this or their head is saying do this? Because what if
beautiful question. Yeah. It comes down to how you feel. If you feel good about what you wrote, if it puts a smile on your face, if you know that you're being authentic and it's integrous and it's true, then you write it. If you feel like it's something somebody else has told you, or if you feel like I'm only doing this because it's what the stats say I should put in there. I'm only doing this because my coach did it and they have success and I want their success. It comes down to the way you feel about it. if you can say that and be like, I read my bio and I like what I said, and it's true to you, that's what you write. Granted, there's little things like, grammar and things like that you want to make sure touched up. But other than that, just write the way you feel. Yeah. Just write what you feel and connect to that. That's what I would say.
So how much sharing then would be oversharing?
True.
Is there a point of oversharing?
That's a better question. And I believe that comes down to the individual. I've been known to overshare, but I also know that's just who I am. I can't control how someone else receives what I share. I can't control what they do with it, but it doesn't stop me from doing what I feel I need to do or feel I need to say. That's how I know I'm walking into my authenticity, because if I feel like I should share right now that I, have a problem with alcohol and I've struggled for drinking 2 decades, and it doesn't make me feel like I'm shaming anybody or I don't have any guilt or resentment about it, I'm gonna share it. If I, will I say to the person who's a new entrepreneur that's struggling, oh, you suck, that's horrible. You're never going to do good at this, because I can tell you when I was your age, I A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No, if it doesn't benefit in a way that connects the two, then I wouldn't share it. Okay. But I wouldn't hold back because of what others think or say either. So it's a fine line. But again, it all comes back down to that connection, that movie. If you listen to this instead of this, you'll know if you're oversharing, because this leads. You'll get, for me, I get a feeling, I get a tug, like, okay, no, you don't need to say that. Don't say that far, or don't share this. So this person is not ready to receive that. Other than that, I'm willing to say what needs to be said. I'm very vulnerable. So I think there's a difference with being willing to overshare and just oversharing. Yeah.
And definitely understanding that difference, because it sounds like even with you, and I would like to think that the audience has it as well, there is that self-awareness of where the other person is at.
Yeah. And that will dictate how you share. But that also comes down to connections in relation to connection to your soul. It comes down to connection to heart and soul, because you have to listen to that. That's the true indicator of whether you share or not share, or what you put in your bio. It all comes down to the alignment. Yeah. I didn't know this until a year ago.
And then also even knowing who your actual audience is, then if you're oversharing to what someone thinks is oversharing, but to your audience, you're not oversharing, then that's also totally fine as well, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It really is. It is totally fine.
Totally lost the paper there.
That's okay.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to, from even just taking it right back to the very start where you said knowing yourself, because when you do know yourself, you can know who your ideal audience is. Mm-hmm. And then you can kind of design what you're putting out there to the world and what you're sharing in a heart-centered way or a soul-led way.
I think sometimes we give too much credit to audiences too. I agree with what you're saying. And there's also, again, that fine line, because if you, like, how do I put it? Like, there's sometimes, true change and true transformation, it starts from within. And if you know that what you're saying, somebody needs to hear it, like, it might not be for that audience. It might, like, the audience might be full of a bunch of, bricklayers, right? And you think that, I'm just going to focus on the foundation of how you want to make sure that you follow steps in your life and you listen to your employees, blah, blah, blah. But if something tugs at you and it says, like, you want to share that story about your grandfather who's a bricklayer and worked himself to exhaustion and died of a heart attack, then you share it. because somebody out there might be on that path to have that same result. But you can't get in your head too much about, oh, my audience are these people. My audience are here to hear this. You just have to stay connected, plugged in to source and plugged into your soul, and you'll know what to say and when to say it, because you'll feel good about it. If you just get out of here, get out of the head and just stay here, you'll feel good about it. You'll know this is something I need to share. I've been transformed by a lot of people's one-liners, because it was, and if you tell them like, oh my God, when you said this, it really connected to me. It made me feel differently about myself, made me want more. And they'll be like, you know what? I had never said that before. You know what I mean? That, or I don't know where that came from, and I feel like that was because they were led to say it. It wasn't a part of their speech. They were willing to veer away from it. You have to be willing to listen to your alignment and go with it.
Do you know, I absolutely love that. And I think that there is such a fine line between knowing what's coming from you and what's not, because sometimes you might be thinking, oh, that story's irrelevant, but that story has been sent by source, and that story's there for a reason to share to that person, because that's the story that's going to change their life. So I think what you're actually talking about now is such like a tiny little minute percentage. Like it's like those little like 0.1% tugs where you're just like, I probably shouldn't share that. Oh, wait, hang on. No, I really should share that, because that's why it came to me.
That's right. Yeah. First thought, best thought. What we do is we allow second thought, thinking like, oh, well, like it's so many times, even something as basic as, should I take that with me? Like I'm walking out the house and I'm like, yeah, I don't need those. I don't need that. And then I get to the school or somewhere I'm going, I'm like, dang it, I knew I should have brought that bag. It's those first thoughts. The first thought said, grab the bag. But then the second thought was like, no, the ego got in the way, the mind got in the way and said, oh no, you don't need that bag. You just go in here right quick and you're coming right back home. But then I got to where I was going, like, I knew it. So whatever, to me, when I tell myself I knew it, that's when I didn't connect. I didn't line up. I didn't connect, and I should have listened to that little tug. That little tug. Sometimes it's huge. Sometimes it's a heavy, like, oh, I've got to say this. But most of the time, like you said, that little tiny little fracture of like, should I say this? Yeah. And then you check in real quick. And if it feels good, you go for it. If you check in and you start to go, just don't go too long, because it takes you away from it. But you'll always come back to it. I'm a true believer in divine timing. You might go, should I? And not. But if it's truly meant to be, which it is, it'll ultimately come back around. It'll come out because it's meant to come out. It just wasn't meant to come out right then.
Yeah. Like it's got to come out at some point. So it'll just come out as soon as it can. First opportunity. The little voice inside, or the little nagging inside, just gets louder and louder and louder until you listen to it.
Yeah. Gonna keep nagging on you. You're like, you're gonna listen to me. Let me out. And that's the joy of it all. That's the funny part of it all too. When you finally get to the authenticity, you're walking in your true self. It's like I've been knowing all my life. I've been knowing for the longest time. Like something's not right. But for me, I suppressed it with alcohol. I kept saying like, nope, don't want to feel that. Don't want to deal with that emotion. Don't want to have that pain. Don't want that guilt. Run away from it. And eventually, it reared its beautiful head. Even though it was ugly, it turned out to be a beautiful head, because it allows me to get to where I am. When we can align with ourselves and look in the mirror and understand that all the pain, trauma, all the drama that we lived in our past, I'm grateful. It's a beautiful part of who I am. I couldn't be the yo I am today if I didn't take Yolanda through what Yolanda went through for 20 years. Does that make sense? Yeah. So a lot of us try to avoid looking in the mirror and seeing the whole us. We want to see the us that we're trying to be right now, or the us we want to be later, instead of giving respect and homage to that you were, so that you can be truly whole. That's where I missed the boat for 2 decades. But now I'm there. Now I love my ugliness. I love all the shit I did and stuff. And I'm grateful, because I would not be able to have this conversation with you or with your audience if I didn't.
Yeah.
That's true authenticity. Being able to accept all of you and love it regardless.
I agree. I totally agree. And I think that, yeah, like there's so much of an element of people going, yep, I'm going to accept all of the good things, no problem at all. But actual true love of self and unconditional love is accepting all the things and not just the good things.
That's right. Yeah. And I mean, all like, not even just the stuff that, not even the ugliness that you are willing to take in. Like the one like, yeah, I know I stole that piece of gum, it's not that. No, I mean, like when you wanted to stab, I'm being dramatic, but like all of it, like not, we tend to pick and choose even the negatives of our life and try to say, oh, I just want to let enough of that in. No, literally, you release, surrender, allow it all to come through, and then allow it all to be gone. And then you get to walk into yourself, your true self.
Yeah. And even just down to like, people are like, all right, I'm not going to accept the really, really bad things. I'll just ignore them. Or they'll work on the really bad things and ignore the not so bad, like what they perceive as not so bad. Like they might be like, oh, that person annoys me, instead of looking at it going, why does that person annoy me? What is that that's in me that's annoying me? What that's with
right.
them is, that's in me, but they don't look at that because that's not the really bad thing that they don't want to see. So they're just kind of like, oh, that's only a little thing, I'm not even going to look at it. So yeah, there's a lot of layers to actually just
a lot of layers. Yeah, because that little bitty thing, that if you really look back at if they focus on the big bad thing, if they really look at that big bad thing didn't start off a big bad thing. It started off as that little bitty thing that you probably was like, oh, it's not that bad. And it just kept building. So when you can check it, the sooner you can check in and be like, because I do that now, my husband will frustrate me. And I used to blame him for everything. And I'm like, okay, why am I frustrated right now? What is it that I need to work on that's making me frustrated right now? Because I can't control what he does or what other people do, but I can control the way I respond to it. So why am I mad right now? Why am I angry? Why do I feel sad right now? And then just enough time in it to allow it to release, and not so much time in it that it turns into depression or anxiety. There's just enough to respect it.
Yeah.
But not so much that it takes over you.
Yeah. I like to think of it as you need to feel and acknowledge it and then just let it go.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that it's there, let it go.
That's right. Yeah. But you have to truly acknowledge it. Like, it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm sad. Oh, I get over it. That's what I used to do. I used to be like, okay, I'm sad. I don't have time to be sad. Get over it. Go. Versus, why am I sad? I skip completely over the why. Yeah. And just went straight from, yes, I feel this way, but I don't want to feel this way. Move forward.
Yeah.
It's like, why am I sad? What can I do to not be sad right now?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel good to be sad. Let it out. Oh, I feel better. Now I'm happier.
Yeah. And even just really feeling what you're actually feeling when you're doing it. Like, as you said, you don't just say, oh yeah, I'm sad. Like, actually sitting there and going, wow, I really am sad. Like, why am I sad? I acknowledge your sadness. Thank you so much for being here. I'm ready to let you go now. But then,
it's telling us it's up there for a reason. I have a great friend, Tyson Sharp. He's the one who runs that group I was telling you about earlier, the Servant Circle. Tyson says all about the inner 5-year-old. The inner 5-year-old is trying to be seen. It wants to tell you something, and what is it? And then you just pick up your little inner 5-year-old and you talk to it as if you were talking to a 5-year-old. You allow it to do what it needs to do or hear what it needs to hear, and then you can release it. Yeah. The little 5-year-old, it's sad for a reason, or it wants attention for a reason, or it feels angry for a reason. And you might not even know the exact reason. I got caught up in that too for a long time, trying to know why. Like in-depth why am I sad? It's because I grew up, without my father and my sad. And I'm like, do you really have to go that far? I don't think you have to go that far. I think you just have to acknowledge that I'm sad because I'm missing something. I'm missing somebody. What can I do to feel better right now? versus that rabbit hole of, oh, when I was 8 years old, blah, 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 blah. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember much to do that.
To be honest, I feel like when you're going down the rabbit hole, it's one of those things that you'll always go deeper when you're with someone else. So when you're going to really go down to the rabbit hole, do it with someone who's qualified and can just really
Yeah,
support you through that rabbit hole.
that's
But when it
true.
does come to your everyday life, I think that you don't need to just go down the rabbit hole every time you've got an emotion. Like
Yeah,
you can deal with things in a way that keeps your life moving forward,
yeah,
like as you said, without going down the rabbit hole. But the rabbit
yeah.
hole is there and it does need to be acknowledged sometimes, but it doesn't need to be
Right.
acknowledged 20 times a day.
20 times a day. Yeah, you're right. And you're right. It does help to go through it with somebody
Yeah.
until you find that connection with your source, and that is your somebody.
Yeah.
But then you'll know, okay, it wants me to go down a rabbit hole. Well, let's go down together. That's where the meditation comes in, the sitting in silence and the allowing it to come, because you have that connection. But until then, yes, you're right. Sit down with somebody and how they'll walk you through it. I think after so many times you do that, it eventually becomes your own. Anyway, you start taking ownership of doing it yourself,
Yeah.
because you're being trained and taught and practicing how to connect
Yeah.
internally, which goes back to the aligning with your soul and your heart. So
Yeah.
yeah, good advice.
Exactly.
Start
And
with
you've done it
somebody.
enough then too. You've done it
Yeah.
enough that you know the
Yeah.
process. So you're like, oh, I can do this by myself now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. So I wanted to ask, so say someone's been in business for a while, 15 to 20 years or whatever, and they're just starting to really connect in with themselves. And so their business was very surface level. As we said, they always had that mask on, that they had their business face on. What advice would you give them for starting to incorporate that authenticity into the business moving forward?
Again, I just repeat, start with themselves. Relook at where they are now and where they want to be, but don't forget where they were. And look at the business too. Like maybe give the business a new life or a new direction, a new focus, maybe change the colors of the brand or change the type of audience that they've been registering with. Just give it a little spark, enough for you still can have success and then still own and appreciate that. But the same way you're going to work on yourself a little bit at a time, work on the business a little bit at a time. I would just, instead of like, it depends on the person. Like for example, when I left the classroom, because I taught school for 20 years, when I left the classroom, I started looking into coaching and speaking, things like that. And people leave for different reasons and they expect different things. Like one business owner might say, you know what, I'm going to transfer myself holistically. I'm going to transfer my company holistically and just comes fresh, straight start. Some might take little trinkets, like to leave the classroom and be like, I'm gonna leave. I have no income. I'm gonna let it all figure it out. Or I'm only gonna leave after I can maintain the income I had so I can have something, a nest egg. So it depends on the people, the business owner. There's lots of ways to look at that, but definitely start with you, whether you want to pinch yourself away and pinch your business down or overhaul. Everything's changing. I'm shifting all that shit because I'm not, it's gonna be different.
Yeah. And how do people start to listen within if they are feeling that tug of, I know something needs to change, but I don't really know where to start? How do people really start that process?
For me, I started being aware that there was a process. I got around different people. I started changing my circles. I really started. I was in a group called Define Your Vision with another Aussie. His name is Lee Hicks. And he created a program where for the first time in my life, I had been seen. I had been seen and accepted for who I wanted to be. And that's because I changed my environment. I wasn't around the same people I'd always been around. I wasn't thinking the same way I've been thinking. So I started being aware that there was another way. So I would think that taking steps to become aware of other ways or other methods to think and to feel instead of staying in the same way and the same method and being frustrated, angry, irritable, discontent, or false happy. Another thing I think people is they settle for surviving instead of thriving. And if you're just surviving and it doesn't feel right, start looking for ways to feel better. And I think that's the first step, is to look for ways to feel better. Even though you might feel good, there's always a better. And that would be the first step. Look for ways to feel better. Yeah. Or look for ways to think differently and to feel differently. Because there is a different way. There's a better way.
So it's not even about having the way, it's just about being open to allowing that way to show up.
Yeah.
Even.
Yes. Yeah. Being open and being willing to try another way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And allow it all to fall into place the way it wants to.
Yeah. And the way it's meant to, because it'll find you. It'll find you. If you asked me this question where I was 4 or 5 years ago, I had no idea about things like being aware, being mindful. I call it the woo-woo. Force and consciousness and meditation. And I was like, what? What is this? No clue. But this journey has been just that. I was willing to meet other people and to be open to hear other ways. And it just connected with me. It's not going to connect with everybody. But that goes back to what I said earlier about divine timing. If it's meant to, it will connect with you. Ooh, that rhyme. Hey. If it's meant to, it will connect with you.
I love that. Lucky we got it recorded. So in the line of that, how do you stay connected within both inside and outside of business?
For me personally, what I do is I constantly keep myself open. I stay open. I stay aware. The old term, I think it's called awoke. I try to stay awoke. I find myself every now and then slipping in the crack that of comfort. And so that's when I start to feel like if I'm comfortable, regardless of what stage I'm in, then I'll start looking again like I'm getting too comfortable. This is getting too comfortable. It's starting to feel, like there's still something better. Like the same thing I said about being aware, like, okay, I'm aware that I'm comfortable, which is great, but do I want to be comfortable or do I want to be like blissful? Just always taking in daily check-ins. Yeah. That's how I do it. I check in daily. Yeah. And I'm waiting to get to the point where I check in hourly. Within the concept of time. But just like consistently checking in and seeing where I am, what do I need? And that's all parts of the body, checking in to the physical body, the mental body, my spiritual body, just checking in and seeing what I need. Yeah. That's how I do it.
So what about if you're having a really busy, stressful day?
I don't have busy, stressful days. That's all a choice. It's all a choice. I can choose to have a busy, stressful day, or I can say like, no, that's right. When I say I'm aligned, I'm living my authentic self, I don't allow things like that. Like, no, I'm not going to have a busy day. I'm not about to be stressful about this. No, I can choose to be stressful, or I can choose to say, okay, this doesn't align with me right now. I don't want to do this. I'm just not going to do it. Yeah. Choices. I keep myself abreast to my choices, and everything is a choice. People who are miserable, they're choosing to be miserable. People who are joyous are choosing to be joyous. People who are angry are choosing to be angry. I was talking to a girl. She was in a group. I was a weekly group with a guy. Anyway, she had a snap. She snapped real quick and got mad and hung up the call. And then I was checking on her in Messenger, and she chimed back and she was like, I can't stand when people will do this, criticize me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, everything is a choice. Instead of being like all in her face with it, I was kind of subtly saying, you're choosing to feel criticized. You're choosing to feel disempowered. You're choosing to feel, well, that's you. You can flip that and say, oh, I'm just not going to receive that way. Yeah. I'm not going to choose to feel criticized. I'm going to choose to say, hey, you know what? It's a moment. I experienced it. Let's move forward. People, I always think it's hilarious when people say, and this is even before I started being aware. I guess I kind of was on this path for a minute. Oh, I'm having a bad day. Oh, I'm having a bad day. 5 o'clock in the morning, you drop your coffee cup on the way to your car and you meet somebody. Hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm having a bad day. Damn, we still got 23 hours left. You got your whole day is bad. We have bad moments, but a bad day, you know? Oh, it's a bad day. Wow. I just think that who wants that misery all day long? You could easily, I mean, yep, drop a coffee. Oh, well, must not be meant to have it.
Yes.
Oh, traffic, dang it. Oh, I'm having a bad day. Like, I just never received that. I don't receive that. Mm-mm.
Do you know, I want to touch on this, but also want to provide an example. That actually happens to me if I'm in traffic and the traffic is like backed up more than it's supposed to be. I'm like, there's a reason why this traffic is in front of me. I'm supposed to be 3 minutes later than if there was no traffic and I'm expected to be there. There's a reason why this is happening. And you may never know the reason, you know.
That's right.
But
there was a reason.
Yeah.
It's like there during 9/11, there was a book in the library of the school I taught at. And they had the stories that I think it was like the survivors of 9/11 like that. But there's all these beautiful stories. One guy, for example, just like I think 2 of them. One guy, it was his day to stop and get donuts for the office, so he wasn't in the building. Another guy or another woman was dropping her daughter off for her first day at school, so she wasn't in the building. Another person had to stop and get a Band-Aid. He bought some new shoes. He had to stop at the convenience store to get a Band-Aid for his ankle because it was, scraping against the heel. So he wasn't in the building. So everything we are where we are supposed to be every single time.
Yeah.
So if the phone rings on your way out the house, you get irritated. Oh my God. The phone is meant to stop you for whatever it is. So you might have just missed that car accident, by 3 seconds, that if you didn't answer, things like that. Like we can get into the rabbit hole or spiral all down into, but at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. We are where we're supposed to be every single time. Every single conversation, every single thought, every single feeling, every single emotion. It's all divine timing. There are no surprises. There are no, oh my God, wows. It's all intentional. And I think once we realize that everything is intentional, for me at least, it allowed me to be freer to walk in my authenticity. Because it's intentional. It's not a fabrication. I didn't create this conversation we're having, how we found each other, the talk before, all of it was all lined up for whatever reason. It's divine. It's outside of anything that I can control, and it makes me appreciate all the other negative stuff, the big stuff with the ugly stuff before. It makes me appreciate it because it means something. It means something deeper than I can even imagine. Yeah.
And I think that all of this that we're just talking about now can be completely applied to business and being an entrepreneur. Like you're not picking the easy road. There's going to be challenges, but how you respond to those and what you take on is going to really shape your business and your experience.
Yeah. When you start to expect the unexpected, it's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to have a shitty day. Well, I say that hypocritical about saying, but you're going to have shitty moments in a day. Yeah. You're going to have you're going to lose clients. You're going to somebody misunderstood your branding. All this stuff is going to happen. You can't control any of it, really. And I think that's another freedom in entrepreneurs is when you realize that things are going to happen that aren't ideal, because we have this ideal of, oh, if I have the right content, or if I pick the right brand colors, if I connect to the right power partners, if my sphere of influence is increased, we think if we do all these things, it's going to be like, oh, whoa, it's great. That's all good stuff and it should be done, but sometimes it's not going to connect. It's not going to work. It's all a part of just life. Your business is still a part of life. Yeah. If you can connect life, the way you respond to your life is the way you respond to your business, because they're still all the same. It's still a part of you. That's why it's always internal, outward. Whether we're talking about entrepreneurism, whether we're talking about being a spouse, being a parent, being a friend, it's still all inward, outward. You got to start within. That soul has to align, the heart has to connect. Then everything else just falls into place.
And I totally think that what you're saying about not spending the whole day having a bad day is so important. Like, if you realize that by just connecting in, you can flip your perspective or your moments, how much more time do you get? You know, you could have a whole day of 23 hours of being miserable, or you could go, wow, that was unexpected. It's not exactly what I wanted. Oh, well, moving on.
Right. Right. Exactly. And then that was a powerful, I don't know, perspective that I've always kind of felt that way. That's what people, I was like, oh, yo, you have this energy, this joy. I always felt like, why would I waste all that time on trivial? Like, I can't control that. I can't control the fact that the bank was closed and I didn't get I can't control it. I used to have a voicemail message. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control the way you respond to it. That's the only control I have, is how I react to things. I can't control all the external at all. And it's exhausting to try. It's exhausting to try to control your life to the minutia. It's exhausting. Who wants that? It's a lot easier to be, no, oh well, coffee spilled. Stain, like, oh, look at the coffee stain. And then I'm like, oh, I got a story to tell. What happened? Girl, I was walking out the house. I slipped and fell, spilled the coffee on my shirt. Just, I don't know.
And I do think it's important just to mention that it is a choice. You know, you chose that. For me personally, people have always said to me, why are you so happy? And I made a decision. I specifically remember making it before I was 18, you know, and making the decision to always try and look for the happiest moment that I could in a situation, or the happiest part of a situation that I could. I chose that. Same with you. Like,
do you think we're rare, or do you think that anybody can do it?
Oh, anybody can do it.
I agree. But I think people look at us like we're a rarity. They look at people like us like, oh, that's just y'all. You're just genuinely happy. Oh, you're just, you're injecting positive all the time. Like, it's a choice. It's not, there's not a DNA switch in our body that's like, oh, wait, you get the positive gene. You get the happy gene. You get the always focus on the good thing gene. No, it's all choice. It's all choice.
And sometimes you even get like you've had an easy life kind of thing as well, like, because you're so happy, nothing bad could have ever happened to you. And it's like, oh, no, I just look at those things a little differently.
Exactly. My husband used to call me naive. Oh, you're just so naive, baby. You're so naive. You're not being realistic. You don't see. I'm like, I see the troubles of this world. I see the troubles of I just choose not to see it as trouble. You can change the perspective how you see everything. So why would you choose that? I think a lot of it is people are just used to it. And it's just the way society has ingrained it, like, oh, this is, you look at the news, everything's negative. I don't even watch the damn news. I'm like, I'm not watching that. Why would I watch that? Let that in my brain and my spirit. It's just so negative. No.
Yeah. And I think you said it earlier, because I agree, and I totally agreed with you as well, is that it comes down to what feels good on the inside.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're sitting there going, I could just wallow right now, that's not going to feel good on the inside. You know, like, pick yourself up and go and get a little happy moment going along, you know. And if you need to go and listen to some music for 3 minutes, go and do it, or go and walk around the office for a lap, but come back.
I think that's what's missing. And I think that's part of that's why I want my program I can't wait to get it out to the people, is people don't know how to do that. They get stuck in this, oh, it doesn't feel good. I'm just going to sit here and just stay in it. You know, they don't know that there's choices. And if they do know, they don't know the choice can be something as simple as turn on the tunes for a minute and just dance it out, or laugh it off, or do something. Like, it doesn't have to be, oh, in order for me to have a good day, I've got to overhaul my entire mental processing for the rest of my life. It's like just little bitty things.
Yeah.
Just like those little bitty moments we said that can add up to uglier moments or bad things, little bitty things that are positive eventually become beautiful foundations of joy that you can tap into, just like you tap into the negative side of it.
Yeah.
It's all practice. It's practice, and it's being willing to try something different.
Yeah.
Like just the idea of people just being willing to sit in misery because they think that it's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
That's sad. It's sad. It's so sad.
I totally agree. And I think that's the exact same with business as well, is you need to have that awareness that you can flip whatever happens to a different perspective.
That's right. Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. It doesn't have to be that way. You
No.
know, we think that, oh, well, it's just the way it is. You know, is that so people are so quick to say that, oh, it's just the way it is. Is it though? It doesn't have to be like that.
No, it can be however you perceive it to be.
It can be however you can be however you want to be. You make your own reality in business and in life. You make your own reality. If you want your business to be mediocre, it can be mediocre. If you want your business to thrive, it'll thrive. And another thing I learned from somebody: surrender the when and surrender the when and the how of it all. Yeah. Like in surrender how you think it's supposed to look, you know, and surrender when you think it's supposed to happen. When you let that go and you just allow, that's when the business hits a level of success, because it's going to look different for everybody. You know what I mean? So when you surrender the when and the how and the comparisons, then you'll have true success and true authenticity in your business, just as you will in life. Just surrender. When I surrendered, when I finally let go of trying to control everything, and I couldn't, I just had to let go. I let go. Yeah. And then all of a sudden everything just like, oh wow, this is so much peace. This is peaceful. Why? Just like we said earlier, why choose to be miserable?
Yeah. But also I think the other thing, what I've found in business, and so I'm sure it applies to life as well, but in that letting go, it's almost like the business builds itself.
Right.
There's no efforting. It just all just falls into place the way it's supposed to.
Our business has its own, it has its own life too.
Yeah.
It has its own thinking patterns, you know, it's its own entity. So if you allow it to do and be, then it'll flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I will start to wrap up now because I'm a little bit concerned about the time for you, but do you have 3 top tips for soul-led entrepreneurs?
Yes, I do. One of my top tips was one of the top tips I have for soul-led entrepreneurs
I love it,
is to be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your business. Always come from truth. That's the first tip. The second tip is allow flow. Yeah. So I'll say honesty, allowance, allow flow. Like I just said, let the business be. Let the business do what it does. Give it its own life and energy. And then the third one is have fun. If you are not having fun with your business, I literally can say something is wrong. You should be having fun. Even in the moments where you think like, this is crazy. Oh, I lost 5 clients. Ha, ha, ha. Find some fun in that. Yeah. You don't, everything's not a damper. Everything's not, lining up strategic. Gotta have some fun. Yeah. Have some fun. Go to a Zoom meeting and don't put no pants on.
I love that. Yes.
Just make it fun for you, whatever that might be. Yeah. Like, I don't even know people know this. I'm gonna give a tip to people. Let me see if you even know it. If you go to Zoom, in Zoom, they have these filters, right? And they also have these, look at this. Did you know you can do this on Zoom?
Yeah, you look so cute. Yeah.
I'm like, people need to start loosening up a little bit. It's okay to be in a Zoom meeting and show up like a reindeer, but if it doesn't fit your personality, then don't let it fit your personality, but have some fun. That'd be my third tip. So be honest, allow flow, and have fun. Those are my tips.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And then do you have a recommended resource that you would recommend for the audience?
Yes, for my beautiful entrepreneurs. There is a program. There's a beautiful mogul called Monica Henderson. That's her name. She's in the States. She's in California. And she has a program called Mink Life University. And within that university, she has a minkubator. And in that minkubator, she gives the structure of a 9-to-5 and the flexibility of a hustle. So I know for me as a struggling entrepreneur, I had all this freedom and all this time and all these ideas, but I didn't have structure or support. So it's like a virtual working space. Nice. So just imagine like a room full of entrepreneurs all doing their own types of businesses, but being able to tag in with somebody and to collaborate with somebody and go into a whiteboard session with, a coworker, and just being able to have that structure and the support all in one place. It's a beautiful thing she's put together. She has a beautiful mind, and I am where I am in my business now because of her. And just it's been July, just a few months. I started there with nothing to now I have a business title, I have a mission, I have a vision, I have human resources, I have customer service time. It's so amazing. I don't want to undersell it, but yeah, that's my resource. Mink Life University, Monica Henderson.
Oh, I love that. And where can people find you?
Me. I am mostly on Facebook. I have a group called Be Yourself Every Day. I have a link tree that I'll give to Simone that you can tap into my link tree. It also gives you my IG handles and my Twitter handles and my LinkedIn handles, but I'm mostly on Facebook. I'm old, y'all. I'm 49, them old school people. Facebook was my jam. So I'm branching out though. I'm more on Instagram than I was, but I'm on Facebook mostly. Yeah. So I'll give her my handles to find me. And you'll find me in Mink Life University.
Yes.
You find me in there in the incubator.
No, and I'll definitely share all of your details with the audience so everyone will be able to access you. So that would be amazing. And it has been so nice to talk to you, Yo. I really loved it.
Joy. I enjoyed it. Again, you know how I am about them accents. They so sexy. It was joy just listening to you. I should have let you talk more. Just so I can hear you say something.
I'm interviewing you. I was trying to talk less.
I know, but I just like to hear y'all talk. It's just lovely.
Do you know what I love is how fun you are. I do. I love that.
Yeah, I'm known for that. It's been this way forever now, but it's authentic fun now. I used to force fun because I thought I had to be the fun person in the room, but now it's like, no, just who I am. Just part of my walk. Love it.
Oh, I just love it.
So you want some energy and some fun? Find me. I got you. Oh, I gotta tell you jokes. I'm also known as the best lame joke teller. So I'm gonna tell you a joke before I leave.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you call an old snowman?
I don't know.
Water.
I love that.
And it ties into our talk about snow because he melted. He's old, so
I love it because it's gone whole circle there.
Whole circle like the snowball thing. Just snowman. Snowman to a joke. I love it.
I love that. I love that so much. I so have that same sense of humor, and I just love it. And I've got like friends who are like, a bit cool, and like I'm just like. Because I just think that sort of humor is so funny.
I used to do on my personal Facebook page for about a year, right after COVID, from June until June of 20 to June 21. I did Fun Time Fridays. Oh, nice. Every Friday I would get on there and I would share my devotion for the day and 2 jokes and a little coaching, little content in the middle. But my jokes, people always say those my laugh more than my jokes. It's like, yo, it's just you laughing at your own jokes. I'm like, because they be funny.
I love that. I love that so much. I love that. I send all my best friend all the memes and stuff, and they're always like the super lame ones or the cat ones.
Yeah, they're just so funny. I don't see how folks don't think this hilarious. I'm like, oh, that's priceless.
Yeah,
And they call them dad jokes. I'm like, those are I have at least 500 of them. Like my arsenal is full. I can do jokes all day. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious.
I love dad jokes. I just love them. But anyway, I will let you start the day because it'll be like getting late.
Yes, it's 7:18 now.
Yes.
I'm good. But I had us down from 6 to 7, so we're okay. I don't have anything else until 8. But I have to go eat breakfast now.
Good plan. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this. It's been great to connect with you. Yes.
It's been great connecting with you. I enjoyed it. This is not the last time we'll see each other. I love it. I love you. You have a good day. Audience members, thank you for tuning in. Just know that you are loved and you are seen and heard and valuable. Hope everything is working out for you.